These 20 minutes that I have, I'm gonna talk a bit about the work we've been doing in the past, let's say 18 months. I've been working with Valeria Graziano and Maddalena Fragnito that are part of this conference too. But I'm gonna go a bit previous time to make you understand the context in which we are moving and then the future steps of where we are going. So, first of all, I'm co-founder of a makerspace or Fab Lab. So there are many ways to talk about these new type of labs that are popping up all over the world. There are many types of labs like this. We are actually an independent lab, so we get no funding from public institutions for our being. So we focus on digital technologies, local, and we are part of a local and international community of labs like ours. When we talk about digital technologies, we mean technologies to make objects like laser cutters, Arduino, 3D printers, all these machines that are controlled by a computer. And so you can move a file, send a file via email, and have an object being produced, like in New York right now. So it's very nice because what happened with internet, with communication and language, can happen now with objects. And so we deal a lot with informal training. We try to create new formats of learning about technology in a critical way. But we want to learn how machines work and share this and share how the process of learning and innovating can happen at a citizen level. For this thing, of course, I've been not only being part of, this is not my first lab. I was part of the squat scene in Milan. We had a hackerspace. Now there is many places that make themselves called makerspaces. Other are Fab Labs. All of them have their own personality. Also depends on how the people that are running them feel about the context and think of their role in the city. There are different types of this lab. Usually Fab Labs are part of universities, and so within the university, a makerspace usually are more independent. But what the Fab Lab environment managed to do is to put all the labs in network. So creating occasions of meeting and having to share the knowledge about the machines. So if I move to London, I know that Fab Lab, we can talk in 10 minutes, we know what we are doing. So it's very easy to collaborate also remotely. What I found, our motto, I wrote it, is opening technologies for smart communities. So the idea is to switch. The people are the smart part of the equation. The technologies are just there to be used. And if you have people that are smart, technology can do a good thing. Otherwise, it's not so. So our focus is really about the people that are part of the network of Fab Labs and in which way they use this technology. And usually, when mainstream media talk about this lab, they focus on, oh, the fantastic 3D printers, but well, let's not talk about technology that much. The center of these things are the people. And that's why also one thing that happens very often when they talk about, mainstream media talk about the new maker movement. They say, oh, it was like a new way of DIY. But if we look at what DIY was, so in the 50s, it was a market of new tools that multiplied tenfold. So why? Because a lot of people could, for the first time, could work just 5 days a week and have a free weekend and have a stable contract. And also these people could have their own house. So the cover of the Time magazine put the man that was like at the center of of this new type of trend, but it was a consumeristic trend in the sense of buying. Every house had his own drill, his own. You had to own those tools to be part of this new trend, and you actually were doing it alone in your garage. And so it's totally different from the movement of makers that is right now, because we call it do it together, because the internet allows you to share, as I said before, and also it came to very strongly because people started to be aware and also found it something discomforting that the technology that was commercial was like really affected by programmed obsolescence. So the fact that the producers of this technology were deciding how long this technology should work in your hands, and the way that you were just a passive consumer and not an active like fixer of your technology. So the fact that if you can, one of the motto also the maker movement is, if you cannot open it, it's not really yours, it's not yours. So this idea, it's totally different from the DIY way of thinking. And also because now also a lot of people started to be part of this movement because of a lack of money, and because of they have more free time because their job is really like on and off. They don't, and also they have more time to take care of their stuff, and also they have less money to buy the stuff. And the fact that also there is an ecosystem of new small producers that are creating new tools. For example, here in this picture we have Adafruit. She's from New York. She has the factory inside New York, a small factory, and she produces microcontrollers and electronic components, mainly open source. And she actually created a market in which we can really like small quantity of really important components, and you can create your own interactive project, biological project, any type of medical equipment. You can really like buy the components and also find information online to hack and repair those things. And this idea that came up with hackerspaces of hacking the machines, with the maker movement, is becoming more close to a different approach that we call open design. That it means, what does it mean when a designer, so a professional designer, has the ethics and the approach to design the objects in a maker-friendly way. So thinking that the people will be able to have the object fixed and also make the object be evolving in time. So you don't have to replace the entire object, but the object is designed to evolve in time. So for example, right now, our computers, the laptop, they could be like really like, we could keep the case and keep changing the pieces, but it's the market that doesn't want this to happen. So the maker movement is trying to do this. And what I see is that, for example, I position the Fab Lab as a makerspace in this area in which we are very much in touch with the citizens, because you can enter a makerspace and Fab Lab because you have a membership, or because you do a training course, or because you come and just meet with friends there. And we involve them in our research projects, and we involve the people in creating new relationships with bigger circles of innovation that are happening at different levels. So somehow the makerspaces are becoming the connectors between circles that you sometimes are not in communication. And I think that this role of translation is really useful, especially when we go in very complex things. And in which way care is about, it's in this picture. So care is in this picture because care is one of the topic, healthcare is one of the topics that Fab Labs and makerspaces are really going into, because there are a lot of people that are trying to build their own innovation, and they are trying to build their own devices, and starting from their need, and then come to us and say, oh, I have this idea, I have this problem, and I think I could do this way. And so and they can find a support network that can introduce them, other people that are doing the same thing, or possible ways to make their project evolve.